We laugh, we'll cry, we'll dance, we'll share your pain. Sometimes it rains, but now it's time to gain. Oh, the Deana-Rae project, hosting conversations throughout the nation. You're keeping it locked, don't forget. Doing it together, now we'll take a step. If you watch the show, you'll know everything you need to know. No other can. #1 entertainment show. Subscribe to YouTube so you'll catch it while you're on the go. Where energies flow, building each other, so we gotta grow. Oh, the Deana-Rae project, hosting conversations throughout the nation. You're keeping it locked, don't forget. Doing it together, now we'll take a step.
I am so happy that this moment is finally happening. For a quick second, I was saying to myself, oh my God, it's not gonna happen. But welcome to season 2 of the Deana-Rae project.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really, truly a pleasure.
All right, no problem. I am a subscriber to your YouTube channel, and I know that some may know your story while some might be hearing it for the first time on this platform. So you were in a major car accident that caused the life of one of your friends.
Yes.
And a car accident that also changed your life forever. I know that when we go through traumatic experiences, it's really hard to keep on reliving it by talking about it. But just like, I really want to focus on where you are now and where you're headed. But just for a recap, just tell us about what happened.
Okay, no problem. So my accident happened on June 30, 2019. And what happened is that my birthday is the 2nd of June. And because my life hasn't been so smooth, I normally celebrate my birthday for about 4 weeks. So I give different persons the opportunity to fit themselves in to celebrate with me. So I was celebrating with 3 of my friends, and we went to an event and we were coming home. And we were dropping home one of our friends, and the next thing I woke up 2 days later in the hospital. When I woke up, I was told that I was in a major motor vehicle accident that took the life of my friend, which was the person that was driving. And I was sitting behind him, so I got 90% of all the injuries because the vehicle that was oncoming was from the opposite direction and came directly into the driver's side of the car that we were traveling in. When I woke up, I was unable to move from my neck down. I was told that I had a broken right hip, broken right pelvis, broken left femur, fractured spine in 3 places, broken right rib. I used to wear tested glasses, and so I had that glasses on, and so it sliced off my right eyelid. And on the accident scene, I was told that my eyeball fell out. So when I woke up, they just pushed it back in and just stitched whatever skin that was left. So I could not, this was just completely gone. Apart from that, I had my facial bones on the left side were all fractured, and I was immobile. I could not move at all. I could not walk.
Are you able to see from that eye?
No, I'm completely blind in my right eye because the retina, the pupil, and the lens has been damaged completely. So even if they try to fix, say for instance, the pupil, as it heals, I would still eventually go blind. But I just woke up one morning and I just couldn't see out of it, and the sight has not returned since June 12 of 2020.
Wow. Can you describe what that feeling was like when you realized that you couldn't feel anything below your neckline?
I felt very afraid. I felt like, why is it that I didn't know that I could recover. So my first thought was, why would God want me to live like this and not just die? Because living like this is basically the living dead. really, because it's not being able to feel below my waist. It's not being able to feel from my neck down. So what type of life am I gonna have? And then, I mean, when my birthday happened, I was 33 years old, and I saw myself living with my parents for the rest of my life. I saw no life at all. I was like, why did I wake up if this was gonna be the life that I'm gonna have to now try to adjust the living?
Mm-hmm. How long did it even take you to regain movement in your limbs?
Well, I was immobile for 8 months. The first time I was able to move would have been December of 2019. And move meaning I was able to get up from the bed and sit up. So even when I pushed myself, because I went right into physio, because to me, I couldn't wait. I didn't want to. I didn't want to sit and not be able to move, because then, you know, the saying that says once a man, twice a child. I
Yes.
literally lived that, and it was horrible for me because my mother had to be the one taking care of me. And I'm going to tell you a situation. In order to shower me every day, she had to roll me over to one side of the bed, put plastic from where I was being rolled from, roll me back, bathe me lying down, roll me over, and then roll me back. And during the time that I was immobile, I did still have my monthly menstruation, and it
Wow.
was, yes, that was my mother taking care of me, because it was so bad. Even this hand, when they did an x-ray, they said that the muscles were like shredded cabbage, and they don't know if I would be able to feel anything, which is why I'm not able to feel anything from the left side of my face to my waist because of nerve damage. And that's called is Wallenberg syndrome. So because of the nerve damage, I'm not able to feel. So if you chop my left hand off, I would never feel it. I would only know
Wow.
it's gone if I see it. And so it was horrible for me. And I was determined to walk, because they said to me, yes, eventually you'll be able to walk and only walk. So I can't jump, I can't skip, I can't run, because the way how my bottom half was fixed, I have a chain that keeps my right hip and my right pelvis in place. And then on my left femur, I have a total titanium bar. So even if I jump, and I do jump, when I land, then that could cause permanent paralysis. I can't
Oh,
run, I can't skip. I just can walk, and I can't even walk at the regular normal pace. I'm going to be able to walk less. And talking to you today, I am still not able to walk yet. I still have to be walking with assistance from my crutches, because my left leg is still broken, and they're still trying to figure out why.
wow. And coming from a place of complete independence, I know that that must be completely difficult for you, even though you have passed many obstacles, but an independent woman. I watched the video how you guys was having fun at the party,
Yes,
just celebrating before. And I have to tell you that it brought me to tears, because it brought realization that even though I'm sitting right here talking to you, I could walk off this stool right now and something happened. I could walk through the door and something happens. Like we absolutely never know what's going to happen next. And to see you're sitting, you're talking, even though you're not able to move as much as you would want to, you
yes,
are. So that to itself is just like an entire blessing,
yes, it is.
But let's talk about the blame game. Did you find yourself blaming yourself, or any time of self-blame or any other blame that came from different directions towards you?
Well, I've never blamed myself, um, but I have gotten blamed. My friend that died, I have gotten blamed that it was my fault. I don't know if they thought that, I had a conversation with God, and, I knew that he was going to die, but I did get blamed. I got blamed for dropping my friend off, for deciding to drop my friend off instead of having my friend stay over. And
Mhm.
I grew up in a Christian home where certain values and certain things have to be put in place. So even if I wanted to have a friend over, I would have had to talk to my parents prior to that night to say, okay, I'm going to go X, Y, and Z. And so can my friend stay over? That's the type of home I was brought up in. You don't just impromptu just pick somebody up and just bring them home and my parents have to deal with it. So I got the blame game, and I didn't take much to it, because even though we were out and we were partying, nobody drank alcohol that night, because what was being served, none of us drank it. So we were all sober people. None of us was in the position where we did not want to drop my friend home, because I said to them, okay, we need to drop my friend home. Are you guys gonna come with me, or are you gonna, go home first? And they said they're not allowing me to go by myself. Everybody made the decision to actually go on that journey to drop my friend home. And a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people still don't understand it. I have gotten blame a lot from the person's family, from his friends, from other persons from outside that sees the accident for what it is and know the story and feels like I should have made a different decision. The fact of the matter is, when I go out with friends, everybody needs to reach home on time, and everybody needs to reach home. And if it is that I have a vehicle for myself, I am going to take the responsibility to ensure that everybody gets dropped home, because I believe it's my responsibility. Even though I didn't force you to come anywhere with me, we are a group. I know how I'm getting home, and I'm not going to have a peace of mind if I don't know that the other persons are home and safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the blame. I still get blamed up to this day, but it doesn't affect me that much any at all.
But hearing the way you're explaining it, you were doing the responsible thing to make sure that your friend gets home. And for the mere fact that you live in your parents' house, if they have a rule, they have a rule.
Yeah.
And I would believe that you bring in a person in your parents' home. Remember, everybody's sober. He's not in a situation.
Exactly.
You understand? So then the next step is to take him home and see him walk inside. There is no way you or anybody else in the vehicle could have pictured that somebody else would have been reckless, based on the different information that I've seen online. Maybe you could tell me the other person in the vehicle, that it was that person's fault. Was that person intoxicated?
Yes, I was told that the person that caused the accident, they were intoxicated because they hit the vehicle before my vehicle, and then they came directly into my vehicle. So there was a vehicle traveling behind us with the family, and they were the ones that actually saw everything that happened and could relay the information, because they were even the ones that took out my friends out of the accident, and they tried to take me out, but based on the accident, my feet were actually lodged into the door. So the fire department had to come to take the jaws of life, take the door off before my feet could come off. And so they were able to tell the authorities that the vehicle hit the vehicle in front of us first, and that vehicle sped up, and then it just came directly into our vehicle.
What are the friendships like for those who survived the accident?
Well, in terms of friendship, where I am concerned, the other two young ladies, we do still talk. One of them I talk to more than the other, because we had that friendship from before the accident, and we're still friends. I don't know the relationship between the other two, but where I am concerned, I speak to both of them. We don't talk much about the accident any at all, because everybody's trauma in the accident is a little bit different, and everybody lost something that day. And so we don't try to talk about that. We just try to, see where each other is at mentally. We talk about everything else that's happening in life, and we do still have a good relationship, because one of those females are actually one of my very close friends, and that hasn't changed.
Okay, that is awesome. Um, the next thing though is that you had to you woke up with a completely different accent. And this is one of the things that drew me to your story because
Yeah.
Dina, this is like the movies. The only time that I've ever seen or heard this was in the movies
Yeah.
when the actor woke up like completely not remembering anything at all, but all of a sudden you have a completely different accent. How did you adjust to that?
I have not adjusted to that at all. The thing is, let me tell you how it works. So when I woke up, I was told that I was speaking American, and then it went to Trinidadian, and then it went to British, and it's been British ever since. However, talking to you, I do not hear any of that at all. I just hear regular Jamaican dialect. It just sounds to me like I'm speaking proper English. Just that. I don't hear the accent any at all until I do a video or I send a voice note and I listen back to it and I see that, okay, that's what people are hearing. And I know that that's what they're hearing because then for some reason, when I open my mouth, people automatically adapt to the accent that they're hearing and they start to speak like a British person. I'm like, okay, that's what you're hearing. But I
Yes.
haven't adapted to it because I don't hear it in my ear. But
Mm-hmm.
persons talk to me and they said, this is how you sound. And when I watch my videos, I realize, okay, this is how I really sound. So it's good because I get very great customer service. As I open my mouth and I talk, the people around me, their attitude change, their behavior change. And I mean, in some areas that is good and bad, but I am living with it. And there's really nothing I can do about it. My neurologist says to me, it's because of the brain damage that I actually suffered. So what happened is I had head trauma, which caused the stroke. And that stroke caused a swelling in my brain between my motor skills and my language. So I woke up left-handed when I've been right-handed my entire life. And I woke
Wow.
up with a different accent when I've been Jamaican all my life. I've never been to England before. I don't have any close ties to anybody in Kingston. I don't watch foreign films. So I don't know where the accent came from. And my neurologist says it's not something that they can fix. They've heard about it, they've studied about it, but it's basically the brain doing whatever it is. And when you have brain damage, your brain doesn't go back to where it was. You have the brain damage and you have to live with it and just go forward. So if I want to talk Jamaican, I would probably have to do speech therapy. And my parents and nobody wants me to do speech therapy. And what my neurologist has said is based on the fact of how the brain works, I can get up one morning and speak a totally different language from the British accent.
Oh,
I can have a
wow.
different language and I can have a different accent. So basically just have to leave it up to God at this point.
Uh-huh. All right. So what about, this is amazing. What about people who then they know you your entire life and then all of a sudden you're British? Did you face any form of like discrimination from some of these people?
Yes, I face discrimination from some of the people. I face discrimination from the public at large because I have done other interviews with like Smile Jamaica, TVJ, The Gleaner, and a lot of people feel like I'm faking the accent. Even now, persons are still thinking that I'm faking the accent, but I'm not faking it. I wish I could turn it on and off because now what happens is the more I recover is the less I understand patois. So if you talk to me in full patois, in a full sentence, I can only pick up certain words. You have to mix the patois with the English in order for me to understand what you're saying. So there is a disadvantage of foreign accent syndrome. But a lot of people still scrutinize, they think that I'm faking it. A lot of my friends have said when I get too emotional, they hear the patois chip in. But again, I don't know that unless
You
you
have no
record me.
control.
No, I have no control over it. And because of the type of brain damage that I have where there's a swelling, my neurologist has said I really have to keep my emotions under control, whatever the emotion is, because to be honest with you, Debian, they don't really know what is happening to me. They have a lot of unanswered questions because I can't take any pills because they don't know what can affect the brain damage. And affecting the brain damage, I can get a stroke or a seizure. Now, they don't know how I'm going to come out on the other end if I should get a stroke or a seizure. And they don't know, they really have a lot of unanswered questions. So they're currently researching with other doctors in other countries to see how best they can advise me. Because if I get a headache, my headache lasts like 3 days. It goes down to my eyes and I can't even take a Panadol. I just have to work through the pain. And I do feel pain in my knee because of the pin. And the only medication that I've taken that has done nothing to me is morphine. Because it's highly addictive, they will not prescribe it for me. So I'm always in pain. And then when the rain falls, I'm in more pain. So I really, at this point, have no pain management. And I can't take like 6 Panadol back to back because that would be overdosing. So even though it may help, I'm going to overdose. I'm triggering something else. So I just have to be living in pain, basically.
Wow. It's definitely hard for me to relate because the minute I get a headache or say menstrual pain, then the first thing is like, take something for it. So for you now saying that if you do take any of these medication, there's a possibility of you getting a stroke. That's really, really hard for me to relate to. But I think that you're doing, from what you're showing us, I think that you're working through this pretty well from what we can see. I've watched some of your videos online and I do enjoy watching them. You creating these videos, I'm assuming it brings a level of calm, a level of therapeutic aspect to your life. Is that the reason why you started?
Yes, that is the reason why I started, because no, I couldn't find anybody to relate to, anybody to talk to. And mentally, people would think that physically that is the greatest part of my recovery. It's not. It's the mental recovery that is going to be ongoing. And I can tell you, I do have very good days, but I do have very horrible days, very bad days, days that I curse God, days that I wonder, is my life going to get any better? Days that I wonder, are people actually going to be able to accept me for who I am now? Because you have to have a different level of understanding. You have to understand that I'm going to walk a little bit slower. I'm going to always repeat myself because I have short and long-term memory loss. I literally can't remember a lot of things before January of 2019 on my own. And a lot of people get irritated by those stuff. Because of my short-term memory loss, I will ask you the same question more than one time at different intervals, just because I really don't remember if I asked you. And on my bad days, I really don't feel like I have a purpose. But then I keep waking up every morning, so there must be a reason for that. And that is how I try to pull myself out of those dark places so I don't go too deep into it. Because it's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to, remember what you're going through, because I'm reminded every day that you're not 100% okay and you have limitations and you have to accept those things. And I feel sad, and it's okay to feel sad. I just can't stay there, because you cannot grow anything from a sad place. You have to understand how you feel. You have to accept that you're sad and why you're sad. And then you have to motivate yourself to do better, to get out of that sadness. Because if you were not supposed to be here, you would wake up every day, literally. So I have to use those things to actually draw me back to a place where, Deana-Rae, somebody out there needs to hear what you have to say. You need to do the video. And when I do the video, even though I'm talking to myself, I know that even one person watching the video, it will resonate with them, or they will share it with somebody that needs the help in that specific time. But it has been, I wanted to bring awareness to what I was going through. And I wanted to see if it could reach places where different doctors have gone through or have had patients like me, and they could reach out to me to help me or to tell me what I could do, especially for the pain management, how I can cope with it, things I can do, because I've tried natural remedies, I've tried artificial remedies, I've tried to lose weight, I've tried to pad up, I've tried to get heating pads. Nothing really works at this point. So besides the YouTube video being a means of therapy for me, I also wanted to put the information out there to see if anybody could pick up my story and say, okay, we can fix you, or we can tell you what to do or what to try. Because it's rough. And being in Jamaica and the healthcare and the finances,
Yeah.
it's rough because right now I have 5 surgeries to do. And even though I have put myself in a place where I have a crowdfunding and I have, I've tried to write letters to different foundations and charities, we are all going through a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so the help is not readily available. However, my surgeries still have to be done because then not doing these surgeries are putting me at greater risk. And I would like to leave everything up to God. However, I'm still at risk for a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because I can't even take the COVID vaccine as yet because my neurologist doesn't know how it's going to affect me.
Right.
So it's just, I'm just really out here winging it a lot of times. Like it's just me and God because man-made medications, man-made solutions are really not helping me, or we don't really know if I should take it. So the best judgment is prevention rather than cure, because then if something happens to me, there may not be the tools or the resources in Jamaica to assist me. And I don't think that we're at a place where persons will do all they can or think outside of the box to actually help somebody to live. And so
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to stay in pain. I prefer to be in the unknown until something can be worked out, if that is what is going to help me to live a little bit longer.
And I'm hoping that there might be somebody out there who watches one of your videos or see this when it's posted and say, you know what, I've been through this. I'm going through this right now. Let me reach out. I know that it is a difficult time and you are a strong woman. I see you fighting. You know what I mean? I see you fighting. And you're also a young woman who I'm sure you was out there, you was dating and, you know, being
I was.
Deana-Rae. Yeah.
Uh,
How is that process going now? Or have you put that to the side? I know that the pandemic hit and, things like that, but is there any room for anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, there is room. However, you know, as human beings, we already have to try to understand a person and understand women and all that we come with. I really, and I've told different people this because I mean, people have reached out to me and they have said, I have interest in you and so forth. I feel personally within myself it's unfair to put somebody in a situation to get to know me because I have so much ailment, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they're ailments that no, I can't do anything about it, but are they going to understand that they can't do anything about it as well? And then even I'm not, I mean, I think beauty comes from within and I have an awesome personality, but is
Mm-hmm.
that going to be enough for somebody? Because I'm blind in one eye, that's never going to change. I mean, I do have reconstructive surgeries. That's one of the surgeries that I have to do. I don't know where my mobility is gonna take me because then I'm pushing to walk without assistance and I'm being banned from doing that because we have to ensure that the leg heals. There are a lot of unknowns medically. So I feel it's unfair to put somebody in a position where they're gonna feel literally, they're gonna at some point they're gonna feel helpless because I'm gonna be in pain, they can do nothing about it. We're gonna have surgeries to do and they probably can't do anything about it. And my independence is something that is very important to me. And when it comes to a relationship, I think everything should be 50-50. So I don't have
Mm-hmm.
the mindset that, okay, what the society says that, okay, a man should be the head of the house and a man should take care of everything. I don't believe in that. One, the Bible says the husband is the head of the house, not the man. And secondly, I believe that as a woman in a relationship, you should be able to bring something to the table. And my independence is something that I'm working on now because then there are going to be days where I feel like, okay, if I'm talking to somebody, I should be able to buy you a gift. I should be able to do something nice for you. I should be able to plan something for ourselves where I don't have to depend on your finances. And so that is another thing that, kind of deters me from getting to know somebody in a intimate type of way because then I'm still now having to build back from that. And then not all jobs that I qualify for are remote. And I have to
Mm-hmm.
lessen my movement as best as possible. And so between not being independent a certain way and between thinking that, I'm going to be unfair to put somebody in a position to get to know the Deana-Rae now, I don't put dating aside. I have tried a little bit, like to get to know somebody new, but then I get bored very easily because I'm a sapiosexual. So if you can't challenge me mentally, then I automatically get bored and that's it. But I'm not gonna say it's off the table because one of my heart's desire is to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Even though with my accident happening, my doctors have said yes, I can still have that dream. However, it's gonna take a little bit more than the regular woman, and I understand that. So I don't want to. I've been brought up in a home where my parents have been together for 51 years and they've been married for
Nice.
37 years. Yeah. So I'm not going to want to deviate from a home like that if I'm supposed to bring a child into the world. So, there's a lot of things floating in my head, but I can tell you that dating is not off the table, but I'm very cautious, very, very cautious, especially the fact that we're in a pandemic and the I have underlying issues and I can't take the vaccine, so I have to be careful about that as well. So it's like a whole lot of moving parts, but I believe that God will always have my back. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
leaving it up to Him to provide that person for me.
I think you're overthinking it a little bit. Yes, I absolutely think you're overthinking it. What is to be will be. And we hear in our Jamaican culture all the time that what is for you can be unfor you. You understand? So I think it all comes down to time and patience. And I do realize that you're not really in a rush. And it's a blessing that the doctors have said that you are still in a position to become a mom, because that would have been my next question.
Yeah.
If you want to be a mother, and are you able to still go through the normal channels to become a mother? So I'm happy for you that the doctors said
Yes.
yes.
Yes. They did say that. They just said to me that it's gonna take a little bit, it's gonna take a little bit more because then I'm gonna have, because there's a plate in my pelvis, I'm gonna have to be on bed rest for the entire 9 months. And then I'm gonna have to do a C-section. And over the course of pregnancy, then I would have to be seeing both public and private facilities because they have to watch everything because I do have an entire bottom half that's metal. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be closely monitored, but they don't see any reason why I can't bear a child. The accident has not in any way scarred or injured my womb or my uterus or my cervix. And the metal does not do any harm at all, at all.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I know they said to you, you might have, well, you would have to do a C-section. Let me tell you, it's nothing for you to be scared about when it comes on to doing a C-section. I have 3 kids and 3 C-sections.
Well, well, kudos to you. But I
3.
know that, yeah, I know that the C-section is nothing because I had to do 2 C-sections to fix my right hip. So I'm aware of the cuts and the process of recovery and what you need to do and not being able to lift heavy things and all of that. So I'm not scared about the C-section.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about the timing between my age and how my body's recovering and finding somebody and all of that. That's what I mostly think about. But as I said, I leave it up to God and timing and everything because I do think that the major thing from my accident is learning patience because I had none. I wasn't born with that at all. So
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the major lessons of me being in this accident and recovering is that I really need to learn on patience and I really need to accept that timing is everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that with your accident comes a lot of sympathy from people instead of understanding and support?
I think they're 50-50. Because then the people that are closest to me, they don't give me sympathy or pity. And my parents are my parents, but people that are
Mm-hmm.
close to me, they don't pity me. What they try to do is, they will check in on that and ask me, how do I feel? Or every time they see the rain fall, they will reach out to me. I know the rain is falling. I know you're in pain. when I'm here, if you want to talk to me, some of them will reach out and talk about everything else just to distract me from what is happening because the rain is falling. But people that don't know me, that are in the public, the majority of them, they see me as a walking miracle. And they will always say, I'm blessed, and they're happy that they can see me recovering. And they, they give me a word of prayer or they give me some encouragement. But there's still some people that they literally pity me. And these will probably be the people that are in establishments. Like I go in and I'm on crutches. It's more of a pity thing to help her, to let her, get out of the environment rather than, I understand what you're going through, let me help you. And then in my head, I still want to try to do the regular things. Just because I'm on a crutches, you don't always have to give me special attention. I can still stand up on the crutches. That's what they're there for, to bear weight. I can still wait in a line. You don't have to treat me like a special treatment, because then most of the places I go in are very crowded. Everybody is here to do business. I can wait, but they don't. They pity me and they're like, oh, they ask me what's wrong with my foot. And I say to them, okay, I was in a motor vehicle accident. I'm not able to walk. And then some people start to cry. Some people say they don't know how they would do it. So it's
Yes.
50-50, but I get more positive response in terms of me being a miracle, and the fact that I didn't decide to just roll over and die, or let depression take me over or anything like that. I get more support that, continue to live on, continue to push, continue to fight type of mentality.
Even on my end, even though I don't feel I need to feel sorry for Deana-Rae, because I seen your progress and I seen your strength. It's just that the story is still so makes another person emotional.
Yeah.
Because in truth and in fact, they are going to say to you, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know how you're doing this, So you always having these conversations with people is actually educating us all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there is that person who after 8 months would still be in the bed because
Yeah.
mentally they don't know how to push themselves. So you are not just a walking miracle, but motivation for a lot of people who tell themselves, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can. You know, um, Having all of these surgeries to do, you said 5. What are these 5 surgeries that you have ahead of you?
Okay, so the first one is, remember I said to you that the facial bones were fractured. So most of the facial bones have healed. However, I have a hairline fracture in my right jaw that needs to be sealed. And because it's not sealed, the acid from my chest goes up into the fracture and it damages my teeth and my gums. So the first surgery is actually to seal the fracture in my left jaw. And then I'm going to have to do dental implants. So because of the acid, I have to remove about 6 teeth, and I have to do some gum rejuvenation. And I have to get braces, because then what happened is that they're going to have to do root canals, and then they're going to have to drill some stuff into my teeth, make basically a new mouth. So that's 2 surgeries. I have to do a third surgery on my left femur, because I did a bone graft surgery where I took a piece of my left hip bone and put it in my left leg, and it rejected it. So I'm going to have to do a third surgery to see if they can push the bones together, because what happened is that this is the bone and it broke in 2. And there's a metal bar in the bone in order to allow me to walk. But this break right here, it's still freshly broken. It's not healing. So they're going to have to try to do another surgery in order to see if they can get the leg healed. Apart from that, because of the chain link that's in my hip that keeps my hip and my pelvis in place, I actually have to do a full hip replacement, because then the hip is narrowing and I now suffer from arthritis. And so it's only going to continue narrowing and it might affect other organs. So I'm going to have to do a full hip replacement as well.
These surgeries, are they all available in Jamaica?
Yes, they are.
Okay, that's awesome. Have you ever thought of living somewhere else outside of Jamaica where outside of the tropics where you don't get that much rain. Because girl, I live in California and I'm still waiting to see the rain. We don't see rain in California.
Yes, I thought about living in California. I thought about living in Canada, the parts that don't have 6 months of snow.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do. I really have been thinking about, living in another country. I've even been praying that, a doctor from another country would see me and, take up my medical situation, have me over there to see, how best they can assist me, because I'm really over the pain. I mean, even though it's a part of who I am, it is horrible. I left my home yesterday to get some business done, and today I have to be using my crutches in the house to move, which I don't normally have to do. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm over the pain. I'm over the rain. So now when it's rainy season and stuff, I figured out that the thunder actually affects me as well, because they did tell me that when the rain falls, I am going to feel pain, and I can get struck by lightning because of the metal. So
Metals,
I
right.
have I have to cover up all the television sets, mirrors, everything that can reflect when the rain falls. But then a couple of days ago we had thunder and it was really hard. And when the thunder rolled, my entire body vibrated, and it was a
Mhm.
different level of pain. I didn't know that my body would react to thunder like that. And so it crippled me for like a couple of hours. I could not move. I was in my bed for about 4.5 hours. The only thing I could do was blink. That alone did cause pain. So I'm really over the pain. So if I could live in a country where it's mostly sunny all the time, that would be great for me, because I can tell you, when the rain falls, when it rains, it pours.
Oh, wow.
And and, and,
Mm-hmm.
and and it doesn't matter where I am. The pain may come on slowly, or it may just come and hit me right away. And then the longer and the harder the rain falls, the more pain I feel.
Mm-hmm. Since 2019 and now, the other day when you felt all that shock from the thunder, was this the first time that's happening to you since that time and now?
Yeah.
So is this something considered new?
Yes, it's something considered new.
A lot of things were taken from you, but your confidence remains. Like you could take all the physical stuff that happened during the accident, but my confidence is here to stay. Tell me about that. Tell me about the confidence that you have and why you think that didn't go anywhere.
Well, it took me time to reach back to this place, because there was a time I didn't want to look in the mirror, because before my accident, I was in the gym for 6 months, 2 times per day, and I had a body that I was proud of. And because of my accident, all of that changed. I prided myself on being a thick black girl, and I had very clean skin. I had very good skin, and all of that went through the roof because I have hyperpigmentation. I have so much scarring from all my accident and from my surgeries, and it took me a time to get back to that place of confidence. But what I realized is that if I want my body to heal, my mind has to be in a good place. My mind has to be healing as well. So my body doesn't say, is today a day we heal her or not heal her? Because my mindset is different, it means that my recovery physically will be different. And so I had to shake myself up. I had to say to myself, I had to talk to myself, I had to look in the mirror and say, there are people that's worse than you. There are people that's dead. There's people that both their eyes don't work. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I had to realize and I had to accept the fact that beauty is really comes from within. So it doesn't matter how I look. Because at the end of the day, whatever I'm bringing to somebody, it's not how I look that they're going to remember. It's what I have said to them. It's a conversation that we've had. It's whatever positive thing I have had to say in order to push them, to compel them to do whatever it is that they need to achieve. And so the confidence just came right back. I said to myself, the Deana-Rae before was great. Why do I think that the Deana-Rae now can't be greater too? And I think I dwelled on the fact that my comeback is going to be the greatest thing ever. And that is what I live by every day. Because then I met a lot of people that went through different traumas and they are trying to fight the will to live every day. Because waking up alone is not enough reason for them to stay alive. Having children is not reason enough for them to stay alive. So those things are what propel me to keep my confidence up, because then I'm human just like everybody else. Anything can happen to me. And to be honest with you, my situation is very horrible. But there are worse things that are happening to people, and they have decided to continue to live. Why should I feel like I'm special and should not live? Why should I feel like whatever is happening to me did not happen for a reason? And I have to keep smiling because my smile is beautiful. So if you have a problem with my eye and how I look, focus on my smile. If you have a problem with the fact that I walk a little bit slower, focus on the fact that I'm very well dressed. And
Oh,
those are the
wow.
things that I have to use in order to boost myself and be confident, because then even though all those women out there, they have two eyes at work, they walk very nicely and they shape very well, they still have problems too. And those problems, they may not be able to find a solution to get over it. They may be self-destructive. So many things can be happening. I can't look at other people and wish I was them. I am who I am. And the things that are happening to me is for a reason. And I may not know that reason right now, but I wake up every day. And even if, God forbid, I have some bad thoughts that why am I here? Why don't you let me go? I still wake up every day. And that in itself is for a reason. When I look in the mirror, I am here for a reason. So those are the things that contribute to my confidence, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and brighter. And if you can't manage it, you just put some shades on and just go your merry way.
Well said. Well said. At what point did you start calling yourself the Bionic Woman?
Okay, so when I started my YouTube channel, I had a friend that she was doing YouTube too. And for the life of me, I just couldn't come up with a name. And she says, but you're bionic. And then I'm like, technically, yes, I am bionic. And then she gave me the name. She said, okay, so put it together. And she put it together and she got me the name British Bionic Babe. And then I just ran with the bionic because really and truly my entire bottom half is metal, because I have pins in my knees, pins in my leg, pins in my hip. So I am bionic and I run with it, and it works for me, because then it doesn't just mean physically bionic, but mentally, because no matter what happened, I have the strength to go on. No matter what trauma you have been through, I can literally relate to almost every trauma known to man. I can relate to it because I've had experience with it or I've been through it. And so I think that in itself makes me bionic, because then I have the strength that I can share with other people how to live after the trauma that they've received.
On that point, since you started your YouTube channel, do you find that you have people reaching out to you for just to share their stories with you, like different things that happen or have happened in their life, just looking towards you for some motivational help?
Yes, I do have a lot of people that have reached out to me, persons that have reached out to me regarding foreign accent syndrome. Persons have reached out to me that have been in motor vehicle accidents before, and their recovery is still happening. There are persons that have reached out to me with other traumas that they have been through, and they're not their self. So what it is that I call this life that I have is a new normal, because it is a 360 degree of who I was before. And so I call it the new normal because it's life after trauma. And that is what I try to bring to them as well. The fact of the matter is, it could always be a worse situation. And you might feel whatever you're going through is horrible. but it still is not the worst situation. And there is a lesson there for you to learn in order to move on. So I have a lot of people that reach out to me. I have a WhatsApp group that I provide I provide as much support as I can. I do work with, I have two friends that are mental health advocates. I do work with them as well, and they are trying to positively help young men and women, help understand that they're not crazy, and understand that everybody kind of have a mental issue, but we don't have to let it define us, and life can still go on, and you don't have to be judged and scrutinized for it. So I do have a lot of people that reach out, and sometimes my videos go out at the right time for the right person, and they needed to hear that at that point.
Mm-hmm. And we spoke about your confidence, in which you explained beautifully. But was there ever a point in between? You said it took you a long time to get there, and I don't want you to seem like I'm backtracking too far, but it's just like talking to you, the more you explain, the more the questions come, the more I want to talk to you, the more I want to learn. So you said that there was a space between, grasping that confidence back. Within that space, did suicide ever came to your thoughts?
Yes, suicide came to my thoughts, and I tried to kill myself more than one occasion. When I was in the hospital, it was horrible. In terms of the environment, in terms of the pain, I I I didn't see any reason to live, and I thought to myself, I mean, if I die, yes, my parents are gonna be upset and they're gonna be sad, but they get over it. I thought about, okay, if the bed is high enough and I rolled off the bed, okay, I probably break a rib and it puncture a lung and I die. And I rolled off the bed a couple of times and I never died. It just never took, to the point where the nurses had to have somebody be looking at me every step of the day because they didn't want me to try to roll off the bed on purpose. Even when I came home from the hospital, I had very dark thoughts because I could not I could not believe that this was happening to me. The fact that my mother had to be bathing me, feeding me, moving my hands and legs. And then I had to put on a smile and I had to be positive when people came and saw me, when I didn't feel like that on the inside. But I had to portray that because I didn't want her crying around me. And my mother fed off my energy. So if she saw me not smiling or not being okay, she automatically gets to that place. And my mother worries very easily. I don't want to be the reason my mother worries and then gets sick and then something happens to her. Then who is going to take care of me? Because, the way how my mother took care of me is different from the way how my father take care of me. And so I had to be pretending during the day, and then at night when everybody is asleep, I'm thinking of ways of how am I gonna kill myself? Or I cry so hard and so much because I'm such in a dark place, because then I'm thinking about who is gonna love me? Why are all these people coming to see me when I was good? I half the time I didn't even talk to them or see them. And I thought of so many ways in order to just not be there. I took pills, I didn't eat for days. I tried to find every way not to be there. And no matter what I tried, didn't work. And so I had to say to myself, why is it that I'm choosing the easy way out when I have been told over and over in life, nothing good comes easy? So you've tried the easy way so many times, you've thought about so many different ways, but no matter what you do, it's not working. So let's try a different approach. Let's try the hard way and see if you will get a better result. And then one day I just started to talk to my physiotherapist and I said, okay, we're going to set some deadlines for ourselves. And so the fact that I set those deadlines for myself, where I need to learn how to get up off the bed by myself, I need to learn how to sit up, I need to move from a wheelchair to an actual chair, to a walker, to a cane. Those are the things I had to use to push myself. And at first it was very hard because I still had those suicidal thoughts. I still had those thoughts of not feeling like I'm no longer enough for anybody to be my friend or anything. I felt like a burden to my parents because financially, they were the ones that were dealing with everything, and they had no help. They didn't take any loans. They did everything. So in my back of my head, I'm like, so the retirement money that you guys are supposed to live off of, that has now gone to me. And so I felt so bad for my parents, but they made it seem like, we're your parents. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take care of you. And I'm in my head, I'm like, 33 years old, I'm going to live with my parents for the rest of my life. Who is going to want to be with me? Who is going to want to be my friend? I'm always going to be a burden to my parents. So those thoughts took a while to remove themselves from my thought, because then if I was a burden, even though my father wouldn't say it, my mother probably would. So if I was a burden, I would see it. I'm not seeing that. If people didn't care about me, nobody would come and visit me, I would see that. And those are the things I had to change my mindset, because everything, it begins and it ends with how you think. You have to change your mindset in order to change your surroundings, to change how you felt. And so I stopped dwelling on the negative things that people are not saying and not showing me, because they're all assumptions. And I dwelled on the things that I was seeing. I dwelled on the things that I was saying. And so that pushed me and propelled me from a dark place mentally to actually seeing some type of light, and understanding that until something happens where you're going to die, right now you need to live. And you need to not exist. You need to live in the moment. And you need to understand that you're living here for a purpose, and you may not see it, but gradually wait, be patient. Timing is everything. Because then, before my accident, I've never had an accident, and I've been driving from 2004. I've never been in an accident, and I've never caused an accident. This would have been my first motor vehicle accident since 2004, having a license. Again, that happened for a reason. And so I think one of the major reasons of me still being alive is because I need to, one, bring people in my age group to the kingdom of God. And I also believe that I need to motivate and aspire persons that are going through traumatic experiences, no matter what the trauma is, to let them understand and accept that they went through the trauma for a reason. They need to learn from it, and they need to continue living, because they were specially chosen for that trauma. And even though it was horrible, it was actually to teach them a lesson that they needed to learn.
Well said. I mean, you tried it a couple of times, and look at you now. It's not your time.
Not at all.
Talking about light, what does having fun to Deana-Rae look like? Or does it even have a look?
It does have a look. Having fun to me is, well, I write, so I do have a blog, making my videos, and I love cooking. I absolutely love cooking. Anything that has to do with water, because what happened is, when I'm in water, I feel like a regular person, no pain. It doesn't matter how cold the water is, it doesn't matter how hot the water is. As long as I'm in a body of water, I feel I can walk, run, skip. I feel no pain. I feel like a regular person. So anything to do with water, is fun for me. Anything to do with cooking, socializing, playing games, because I do play a lot of games like Ludi. I do play Ludi. I'm a very good domino player. And what has happened is that, because of my brain damage, I have a little more edge when it comes to calculating and when it comes to numbers, because I am an accountant by profession. So that is another advantage to my brain damage, besides the accent, is the fact that I am now way more calculated when it comes to numbers, and when it comes to figuring things out like puzzles and brain teasers. So that's what fun looks like for me. I try to have as much fun as possible, because then that is also a part of my journey, and also a part of life after the accident. Because there are persons that have to, for the rest of their life, they have to use crutches. For the rest of their life, they have to use wheelchairs and canes. And so I want to show that even though mine might be temporary, I'm not letting it define me. Just like how I'm not letting fear cripple me. I'm not letting my disabilities stop me from having a life. I just have to understand that you can still have fun. It's just that you have to have fun with the mindset that you have limitations, and that you need to know when pushing yourself is too much, and when you have to, find a different way to have fun.
Right. What is your hope or your dream for yourself, say, for the next 5 years from now?
Well, you just reminded me that the next 5 years from now I'll be 40. But what I want over the next 5 years, I do want to be at a better place in my recovery. I do want to find a pain management regime. I also I'm hoping that within the 5 years, the good Lord will send the person that is meant for me, because I do want to have a family and I do want to have a child. And I don't understand, and I have learned to accept the fact that I don't have to have a biological child to be a mom. But
Right.
but until the day comes where the doctor is going to say, Deana-Rae, if you have a biological child, you might die. Until that day, I still want to try to have a biological child. And if I don't, I mean, I can have a lot of God kids. I mean, there's a lot of ways I can mother people without being, an actual biological child. So I really want to get into that. I want to increase my motivational speaking engagements, because I feel like people out there need to have somebody like me in their corner.
I
I
think you
also
should.
Yeah, I also want to build my platform where persons that have gone through trauma, whatever type of trauma it is, persons that suffer from things that they consider as mental health issues. I really want to be a mental health activist, and I also want to write my book, and I will achieve all those things in the next 5 years. So I'm positioning myself in order to propel forward, because I really need to walk in my purpose. And until I walk in my purpose, I'm not going to be fulfilled. And walking in my purpose for me right now, what I think it is to motivate and inspire people and to help people to live from traumatic experiences.
Awesome. When it comes on to Deana-Rae, our British Bionic Bay, what is it about you that you think people don't know, and they have this big misconception of who you are, and you have that opportunity right now to clear it up? What would that be?
Ah, I can't think of the top of my head, because then, as I said, I can't remember a lot of things before January of 2019, but I did journal, and most of the stuff that I wrote down, Debian, if you met that Deana-Rae, I don't know how people were my friend. Because I was not a nice person at all. I believe that I was like I was walking on air. It was my way or the highway. And I had this superiority about me. But since my accident, a lot of people have said that my personality in that way has changed. I'm more humble now. I am more forgiving person. I'm a more understanding person. So the person I was before is no longer there in many aspects. However, a lot of preconceived notions that people might have of me is that I am not honest about my recovery. I'm not honest about what it is that I'm going through, and I am. I don't believe that. Well, I always tell people social media is not a real place. However, it's not all about the sad story for me. It cannot be
Mm-hmm.
about it cannot be about the sad story for me. Yes, the sad story happened, but life happened. Life is still happening. Life happens after that. So people are conflicted that, okay, I say I have 5 surgeries to be done. I said I'm in pain, but yet I post nice pictures on Instagram because I'm still living. I still do
Mm-hmm.
go out. I still go to different places. I still eat out. I'm reminiscing about the Deana-Rae I was before, but I'm not dwelling in the past. I'm giving thanks and appreciation to who I was before. And the fact that that same personality of that confidence and that person that you you grow to love and understand is still here. It's just in a different way. You have to love and understand her. And so that is probably the only thing, because I have gotten questions about it. I'm actually about to do a video about it, because people keep saying to me I'm fake because I say that I have 5 surgeries to be done, but yet I'm posting on social media how I'm nice and how I'm this and I'm here, there, and everywhere. Yes, I am here, there, and everywhere because life is still happening. Sometimes mentally, the days that I go through, I don't want to be in the physical space that I am, and just moving from one environment to the next. You have a breath of fresh air, you have a different environment, and that's what I needed to probably clear my head to understand that you're still on this journey. Accept where you're at. And it's hard, but I have to do it. And I like to share certain things about my life where when it comes to, especially when it comes to food and me cooking or me being out somewhere where, I'm trying something different. I like to give, I like to piggyback on people that likes to motivate others. So I will post other people as well. And I will post myself, how I am now, how I am before, and everything
Mhm.
that's it about me. When I post something, the caption is what people are supposed to read. I'm always motivating people through my captions for my pictures. So yes, it's a nice picture. Yes, it shows that I went out. Yes, it shows that I went to a restaurant or I'm at a hotel or whatever. But did you stop to read the caption? Did you stop to understand that that,
No.
that picture may say something, but I'm trying to let you know that life is a process. I'm trying to let you
Mhm.
understand that life still goes on. I'm trying to let you understand that I understand what you're going through. We may not talk, but you do have the willpower to go on. Draw from the strength of the positive things in your life so you can so you can pass the hurdles of the things. They're trying to put you back against the wall, but nobody reads the captions.
Yeah, reading is always the last thing.
Yeah,
Picture first or video first and reading
yeah,
last. But you know
yeah,
what's true? For the naysayers,
yeah.
if you had posted pictures of you in a wheelchair and you're doubled over and you just look your worst, you know what? They would still say Deana-Rae's faking.
Yes.
So there's no winning situation right there.
No.
Blessed love to everybody who's supporting you like myself, but for the naysayers, they're always going to be naysayers.
Always.
Um
Always.
yeah, definitely. I've seen this time and time again. From 2019 until now on this journey, what would you say is your most memorable moment during this recovery period?
My most memorable moment is I was at a very dark place in my life, and God literally had somebody drop out of the sky, out of nowhere, wanting to get to know me. And he actually saved me when I didn't know I needed to be saved. I was at a point where I thought I found an effective way to get rid of me being on earth, because I said, okay, if I'm not here, funeral expenses just one expense and done. Nobody really has to go through the medical stuff and all of that. And he just appeared out of nowhere in my inbox. And, I just talked to him because at that point I had done my first interview. And I thought he was just another person reaching out based on, the interview. But he didn't see the interview. He knew nothing of me. It was just the fact that I was on TikTok at that time. And that was another means of therapy for me. I was on TikTok and he just joined TikTok and he was just scrolling through and saw a video of me and thought that I made very funny videos and reached out. And when I got to talking to him and when I got to, really get to know him, he, based on his purpose, and his purpose is literally motivating and youth development and aspiring people and pushing people to be their best self. I didn't know I needed that at that point in my life. And the night when I decided that I was going to be over with everything, I didn't speak to him the entire day. And when I didn't speak to him the entire day, I was like, okay, another one. It's just another one. And he called me just in the nick of time before I made that decision to end my life. And he didn't know. And he was just literally calling me to explain to me why I didn't talk to him the entire day, and said to me, tell me about your day. How do you feel today? How is your headspace? And that one conversation changed my entire life again, mentally, because he didn't know what was happening. And God sent him at the right time to call me at the right time. And I didn't even answer the first call. He called 3 times before I answered the phone. And so that was one of the most memorable times between my accident to now, where that person saved me. And he's still in my life today, motivating me every day, every second of every day, motivating me and letting me know that you have to continue to walk in your purpose, because only then will you have true fulfillment.
Have you told him that he did that?
Yes, I did tell him that he did that because he was not aware, and he was taken aback, because then he's like, he would never want that for anybody. He would want that for himself or me or anybody. So when I did find the courage to tell him, it's like it pushed him to motivate me even more. And he's always on me about my goals, about what I need to achieve, about the things that make me who I am. And he has not stopped. It's like I just gave him more ammunition to be there to motivate me and remind me on the days that it's like he can feel when something is off. He calls and he's like, okay, so what's going on now? Type of situation. So it's been good. He has been a consistent support to me through everything that I'm going through. And he doesn't treat me in a way where I am handicapped or I have to walk with the crutches. He allows me to do the regular stuff, even though he knows I'm going through pain. It's like he says to me, I understand that you want to feel as normal as possible. So I'm always here to catch you if you fall, but I'm going to allow you to do the regular stuff, because I'm not going to pity you and I'm not going to be soft with you, because I don't think that's what you need. I think you need somebody to always allow you to face the reality. And if you stumble, then I will be there to support you to get back up. But I'm not going to pity you. And he has not pitied me any at all.
What a blessing, Doe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. At that right time, at that moment when you thought you was ready to do this. And this is a complete stranger. You've never seen him or met him before.
Nope. The first time he met me was when he joined TikTok, and he was just scrolling through TikTok and saw a video that I did, and he went on my profile and watched my videos, thought I was funny, just messaged and said hello. And I actually took 2 days before I saw that message to respond to him. And when I responded to him, we just started to have a conversation, and it just flowed. It was natural, like we knew each other our entire lives. And he's never heard about me. He didn't see my story. He didn't know my name. I was literally a complete stranger that he just met on TikTok and thought my videos were funny.
Wow. That, you know how sometimes we're going through things and sometimes all we need is that one text message, that one phone call, or
Yes.
that one knock on the door. And look at that.
Yes.
Look at that blessing. He called you at the right time and you ignored him. On the third call, you answered. And that changed your whole being at that time and your thoughts.
Yes.
Complete blessing. Have you been able to meet this person in person?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have met him in person, and we're in close proximity. I see him almost every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have met him, and he's been a consistent support. He doesn't drop the ball when it comes to support, and he doesn't drop the ball when it comes to living in purpose and walking in purpose. None at all.
Do you believe that this could possibly be a love interest? What do you think?
I think what is to be will be.
What is to be will be. That sound like you think so. There's a possibility.
Well, we'll see.
I like that. I like that he was there for you at that time when you needed that person. So kudos to him. For that person out there who is facing what they would consider to be the worst, and the tunnel is so dark they can't see the light. what would you, based on your personal experiences, what would you say to that person?
Okay, well, what I would say to that person is that it's okay that you feel the way that you do. It is a natural emotion because you are going through something traumatic and you are going through something that you didn't expect that you'd ever go through. But in order to reach to the other side, you have to accept what has happened to you. You have to try to understand why it has happened. And then you have to feel the emotions, accept the emotions for what they are, but you need to want more for yourself. Because you need to remember, before this happened to you, you were okay, you were living, things were, you had goals that you were working on. This traumatic experience is just a bump in the road. It's just a little detour. And when we detour, it's always to find a different direction to get to our end of our journey, to our destination. And so, as somebody that thinks that they're going through the worst, you are not. It is the worst situation in your life, yes, but it's not the worst that you're going through. And the fact that you're able to identify what you're going through, and the fact that you're able to understand that there is a minor possibility that I may get better, all you need to do is motivate yourself to get to that possibility of things are getting better, because it will get better. We have to understand that time is everything. Patience is also everything. And even though we don't like the process of certain things or the journey of how certain things happen, it is all happening for a reason, even though we cannot readily see that reason. And it is happening to us because it's destined to happen to us, for us to learn a lesson, for us to move forward. Because you can only go up from a traumatic experience. It's never back. It is always up. It's always preparing you for something greater. So even if you have something as bad happen to you, with what you've gone through, you have had garnered the strength to deal with anything that's coming your way. And that is what makes you phenomenal, and that is what makes you unique. Because even if you have other persons that have been through your same traumatic experiences, they have found different ways to deal with their trauma, and they've come out on the other side. So now it's your turn in the line to find a different way to deal with your trauma and come out, so you can also join that line of recovery and that new normal after your traumatic experience.
I've always wanted to do my own show, coming from a television background. And I started the show because I wanted to help other people to feel good about themselves, based on whatever it is that they're going through. But it is true, but it's partial, because as I go along, I now realizing that I wanted to do this to also help myself.
Yes.
So you do your videos because it's therapeutic to you.
Yeah.
And I do these interviews because it will help others, but at the same time, it's helping me. And I want to thank you for being here with me on my platform and sharing your story. And you should definitely keep on working on your motivational channels to help other people, because I know you might see, but you don't see the entire picture, that you are great. You are great. The way you speak, your choice of words, you are great. And I know that when I put this interview out and other people who will be seeing it, they will be touched. They will be motivated the same way I am, feeling motivated right now to push on.
Yeah.
You understand? And not get to up that dark place that's not needed right now.
Yeah.
You understand? So thank you for being you. Thank you for being great. And thank you for being here with me on the Debbie and Newman Project.
If you've made it this far, that really only means that we're at the end of another conversation. But just before you roll into the next episode, it's time for you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Catch you on the next episode.